So it's always like my brain is being challenged, especially when you're not in college anymore and you're not like taking classes. It kind of keeps me, in tune because you're also like referencing things and, you have like your little bibliographies for each thing that you research. So you're reading articles and stuff like that. So I'm also expanding my lexicon and I like that as well. So yeah, it's like keeping me a well-oiled machine is what I would say.
Hey everyone, today we have Tanisha, one of our AI tutors specializing in humanities. She is a visual artist from the US. She has a lot to say, and I can't wait for you to hear it all. Hey everyone, this is Tanisha, and we're going to have a lovely conversation today. First of all, Tanisha, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
All great. And I'm going to go straight to the chase. What do you do at Mindrift and in your life specifically?
At Mindrift, I do AI tutoring for the humanities, and I'm in all of the domains. So language arts, linguistics, religion, visual arts, and performing arts. I think is all of them. I might be missing one. I also do editing. So that is like editing retail, editing for the humanities and stuff as well. So yeah. And as far as outside of Mindrift, I am a designer. I do 2D illustrations, 3D modeling, animation. I do branding, UI, UX, the whole like lot. And I'm currently a designer at Mattel. So I design for the Dolls team. And I also do like freelancing on the side. So I pick up projects here and there. So yeah, like I'm fully loaded with things.
Brilliant. So, couple of things. First one being, where can we actually follow your creations?
You can follow my creations on my portfolio, which is www.color, which is the European spelling. So COLOUR, and then the word me, and Choco, which would be CHOCO.com. Or you could use the same name would be on like any other thing like Instagram. Some people can follow me on LinkedIn if that's your thing. And you can also just follow Color Me Choco.
Okay, brilliant. And now you have an interesting story in terms of what you actually do as a designer for multinational company as well as a AA tutor for humanities. What was the road that actually brought you here? So what was your education? What are your interests?
I went to the University of Michigan to get a dual degree in art and anthropology. My niche in anthropology is linguistics. So I studied all of the humanities while I was like going for my anthropology degree. And then during that time, I was getting my bachelor's in arts. And then I went to Syracuse University and I have my master's degree in fine arts, specifically in computer arts, or like digital arts. So like, that's where the 3D, 2D illustration, all that other stuff juxtaposes together. I originally worked at Syracuse as well. I rose from a designer to a creative director. But then the pandemic hit and, everybody was having issues. And then I got the job at Mattel and I've been there for like, I think like 2 years.
Time
So
flies.
yeah. So yeah, I've been there for like a decent amount of time. I started there in 2022. So yeah, I've been making like in the toy industry for a little bit now. So I went from higher ed to entertainment, which has been pretty interesting. And I've always like done freelance. I just started doing 3D. It was something I always wanted to do. So now I'm like really good at Blender, but there's so much more to learn. I personally really just like learning things. I research every day. I like to watch docu-series and stuff like that. So I would say that like I'm pretty nerdy.
You say that you like to learn. Did it actually happen? Because I keep hearing this. Did you learn something by actually replying to a prompt on Mindrift?
Um, well, just for backstory when it comes to I really love writing, and my best friend, she works at Disney, and she's like I was like writing these like really elaborate cover letters, and I just couldn't condense it for some reason, and she's like, you should use Chat GPT. And then I like also at work we were like learning about like Mid Journey and stuff like that when it was like first coming out. So because all these are pretty new,
Mhm.
and so then I started like dabbling with both of them, and that's kind of like where I got into AI. And then I just it's just been rapidly going everywhere. Like all these websites are using it now, and it's been like you were using AI with like chatbots a couple of years ago, but there's been like an influx of like chatbots and stuff like that. So I really wanted to learn more about it. I started like making my own GBTs and stuff like that. So that's just for context with my experience with AI itself. Like I've been really trying to be open minded because a lot of creatives have like a fear of AI. So I wanted to kind of like get with the times because it's not going to go
Mhm.
anywhere. So no need to fight it. But as far as learning something, I think I've learned a lot because, you're always researching, especially when you're doing like free form topics and stuff where you get to come up with, the prompt yourself. So, or like maybe I'm just like learning more about a topic I already knew about, or it takes you down a rabbit hole, like where you learn about one person and then something else in that learning, like you might find out about a new technique or a different person that might make you want to write about that person too. So, yeah, I think I've learned a lot within all of the domains that I've worked on.
That's brilliant. And I mean, you obviously say that a lot of artists are actually scared of AI while you're interested in it. What's your take on what AI will actually play for you in the future? So how do you think AI will play a part in your future?
I personally use AI in my personal work now, not so directly, but like as an illustrator, like you look at other people's art and you don't want to like replicate it or, in it sometimes you get caught up in stuff like that. But I think when you're doing AI, like even though people have this discourse about it stealing from artists, all artists are stealing from other artists. Like that's just like a common trope within the actual art community. Like you look at someone's art style, you like it, you adapt it to yourself. Like that's just kind of the point. And I think that AI is so new that it's going to be learning how to, get even better at what it does. So it's like, obviously, you can't really use certain elements of AI art because it's like the hands don't ever look good. um, but for me, maybe it'll help me spark an idea if I'm using ChatGPT. I know that they're working on like having visuals in OpenSea as well, but for like Mid Journey, like understanding how to make the prompts to give you that inspiration and help you like move forward. Even when it comes to design, like maybe I'm designing something, I don't know what direction to go, and then I can kind of like briefly put the idea into this like space, and then it'll like populate these ideas that might like inspire me. So that's what I pretty much use it for, inspiration. That kind of leads me down like a different rabbit hole, and I really love looking at what other people generated already because some people are really good at creating like prompts for for Mid Journey specifically.
Brilliant. And so you said that you use AI specifically, namely image generation AI models for brainstorming, for mood boarding, and so on and so forth. But I seem to hear that what's missing right now is the human touch. So you use it to find out what you will actually draw, illustrate, or model in 3D. But in the end, you still have that control, that finesse to produce the final sketch. And what that reminds me of, the master artist in the Renaissance in Italy, for example, who had a whole workshop of students and the likes who did all the preliminary drawings, all the preliminary paintings. Then they came in and just did the final one, which was, well, amazing. What we're doing right now is possibly speeding up the workshop element and just going straight to the final piece.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Good, because I like when I'm right. Um, Now, going back to Mindrift, you spoke about how your experience in humanities. You spoke about your experience with AI. What do you like the most about Mindrift?
I think that I like the flexibility the most because I'm not tied to I have to work this many hours. Like it's like an ebb and flow thing. So if I'm freelancing creatively, then I can focus on that. And I don't have to I have to get this done for sure. And I like the ability to just always be learning. So it's always like my brain is being challenged, especially when you're not in college anymore and you're not taking classes. It kind of keeps me, in tune because you're also referencing things and, you have your little bibliographies for each thing that you research. So you're reading articles and stuff like that. So I'm also expanding my lexicon and I like that as well. So yeah, it's keeping me a well-oiled machine is what I would say.
That's one way of putting it. I could possibly recycle it for marketing material. Hey, this is Mindrift. It keeps you a well-oiled machine. Um, how do you actually find the balance between Mindrift, your job, and your personal life and other commitments? I mean, there's a lot going on.
Currently, I shifted to a contract role at Mattel, so I'm not full time anymore. Even though sometimes I do work full time, but it's I work specifically with one person, and I've been following her, so I work directly with her all the time. So it's a lot easier to do other things, and then I'm freelancing in a more creative capacity. So that flexibility kind of helps. I also have insomnia, so in the middle of the night, I'll just be working on task. I wouldn't say that I have the perfect balance. I haven't really mastered it, and I have a lot more downtime right now than I normally would. So this is a topic I would have to revisit when I'm working on a toy and I've picked up some freelance and I'm trying to do this. So yeah.
But that's the beauty of it. You can actually decide how much effort and how much time you put into it. There's no fixed hours. It's more about, I have time. Yeah, sure. Can I sleep?
Mhm.
Nope. Time to go on the platform. And now, speaking of going into the platform, what sparked your interest and made you decided to try?
I saw a posting on LinkedIn and then I was curious and I'm like, I really like AI. I'll just try it. And then I went through the process and I started it and I was like, oh, okay. I really enjoy like these things. And then I learned that I could pick up more stuff. So, and expand into other domains within the humanities. So it was just I got to constantly be learning
Mhm.
stuff. So that is really what fuels me to stay and including the flexibility and stuff like that. So I really like it so far. I don't have any complaints as far as the work itself. It's pretty simple. I also like the new UI that you guys just recently implemented where you get the task all at once and you don't have to add more tasks. So yeah, that's just a side note.
First of all, thank you for the feedback. I'll definitely pass it on because the product team will be ecstatic. And then you said that you're actually interested in AI. You tried a lot of different models and products. Do you feel that AI experience is actually needed in order to complete tasks on Mindrift?
I don't think so. I think it definitely helps, I don't think I've thought about it so much because maybe it's because I went to school for a lot of this stuff. So I'm just more writing about these things. But I do think it helps because you understand like what you would like to see in AI or like what it means to humanize it, so it's like you would steer clear from saying certain things that, you might say in another like or in like an academic setting or, you would just be more mindful of the user because you've been a user. But I could also be thinking from a designer standpoint as well, because like I think about like user interfaces and stuff and like the person on the other end of the product all the time. So there could be like that's influencing me saying like, in my opinion, honestly, if you're working on AI, you should know what it does and you should like have your hands on it just so you like get the point of what you're doing as well. Cause it's kind of hard to appreciate something or value something you don't even know where your work is going or what's the purpose. So yeah.
But that's still from a user perspective rather than a development perspective. So there is no coding experience required, let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And now I asked a lot of questions, but just for fun, what would you say to a person who was actually thinking of applying?
I would say that it's really easy work. Oh, maybe I'm saying this because it's easy for me, but it's really easy work. Like, if you know, like what, the domain and you're an expert at it. So it's like, it's not really like anything that is, I think, super taxing if you like to write. So, like, if you like to write, if you like to learn or like challenge yourself to like, you know, understand AI as well and like be open minded to it. And if you like the challenge of like thinking about how to rephrase your question into like a statement or a command and stuff like that, or like providing context and pretending to be a user, which I think is really fun. But like I like to like get the prompt and then I have to pretend to be a user and put myself in this like imaginary world. But that also could be again because like I'm a creative and I like to like write stories and things like that as well. So if that's something that really interests you, then I definitely think that this is the space for you. And it's also like a good point of entry into the AI world. Like, I just think it's just like good to have it under your belt while it's rapidly, increasing because I just turned 30. So I didn't get to catch the wave of a lot of other like technological advances because I was too young. So this is kind of cool to be a part of something that's rapidly evolving. So like when I'm older, I can like, or not even just older, like this opportunity could lead me to other opportunities in AI. So, and there's really, it's all of this is so new. So there's not really like, I had to go to college for this, I had to go to college to be an expert in that topic, but not necessarily to, like do the AI stuff itself. So, yeah, those things definitely at least make me want to do it. And like, if you're interested in getting into AI, I think it's a good point of entry.
That's great, specifically because I totally agree. Are you actually active in the Mindrift Discord community?
Yes, I'm actually really active in the Mindrift Discord community. I'm probably not going to be as much, but I have been for the last couple of weeks. So I think it really helped me like understand what's going on because it's like that's where you get all your information from anyway. Like I'm up on the announcements, help desk that just like got released, I think like last week or something like that, and like was able to like read through that stuff. So yeah, I think it's pretty crucial to the role to be a part of that community and also it's a good place to network too, like because you get to like learn more about the company, talk to people that work there, stuff like that. So, and I got an opportunity like this.
I mean, thank you because it seems like you actually value this podcast and I love it. Thank you very much because it's been really insightful. I have, I think, just one last question. I like asking questions, but I also like to reverse roles. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask me?
So, what made you start to work with Taloka slash Mindrift? Because I know you were working there, and then the rebrand happened, so there was a switch. And I know that you originated like with design and photography. Like how did you get to this point where you are today?
Okay. So a little bit more history for those that don't know. I actually started my career in photography, moved to 3D modeling and videography, product marketing, and now finally Toloka. The reason why I joined the Mindrift side of Toloka is namely because we have a big need for experts like you. We need the marketing resources to be able to fulfill them. The reality is, I love it. It's great to work with people, and it's great to actually have a wide range of let me call it marketing term audiences and personas. It's something that challenges me, but it's also something that I see growing by the day.
Mm.
And it's amazing to see how different it was just 3 months ago, where we are now, and where we'll be 3 months from now. And I'm not even talking about a year from now. Everything is changing by the minute in the entire industry. There is no college course right now for this. You need to live it. And I'm here.
Um, so since you're on the marketing team and there's this new brand, I like the new brand by the way. Like from the UI to the actual like logo and stuff like that. So like what do you like about the marketing and branding since you're playing like a more integral role in that?
I'm going to start from the beginning and I'm going to say the people, but that's an easy one. The reality, and this is going to sound, I mean, it's going to sound cliche given the medium that we're on, but compared to other competitors on the market, what we're trying to do and what I like about the branding is that we're trying to put our faces first and our faces to actually showcase what we do alongside our tutors like you. We try to give voice to our people. We try to, to create value in the stories that actually make up Mindrift. It's not just one person. It's not just one brand, but it's a collection of heterogeneous people that together build a really interesting brand. Also like green. Which is why
Thank
I
you.
really like half of your hair.
Thank you so much. And thanks for answering my questions.
I mean, anytime. So thank you very much, Tanisha. It's been a pleasure. I hope we'll see you again in the future.
Same.